October 19th. Yep, that's tomorrow. Marks the first day of early voting for voters in about 385 municipalities all across North Carolina. The in-person early voting period continues all the way through Saturday, November the 4th. Election day, of course, is November the 7th. So with us today, we have Charlie Collicutt, Guilford County Elections Director, talking to us about all things voting and elections. You can send in your questions to him. All you have to do is text 336-379-5775. All right, so Charlie, let's first and foremost talk about how early voting is underway, but people need to know whether they can actually vote or not.
Right. Yeah, early voting starts tomorrow for a lot of voters in Guilford County. Not all. You've got to live in one of the municipalities that we have. Greensboro, we don't have one for Greensboro and not for the unincorporated folks. But yeah, we start tomorrow at 2 different locations. So we're ready.
All right. So for folks who are going to be voting because they live in Oak Ridge or Summerfield or High Point or wherever, they are going to need to take some kind of ID with them. So let's talk about how this process is going to work.
Right. So it's fairly simple. Most voters have the ID that they need: a driver's license, anything from the DMV, passport, military ID, tribal enrollment card, uh, other types of government issued photo IDs. Bring it. Most people have it. If you don't have one, we can make you one at one of our Board of Elections offices. If you really don't have one, then you can do documentation in a provisional ballot that if you fill that out truthfully, then we'll count your ballot. So it's fairly easy to do, and we had some pretty good success with it when we just ran this for the first time in the primary.
Okay, and so what happens for maybe people who maybe didn't vote in the primary, but they're voting this time? What does the process look like when you go in? Are you giving your voter registration card? Are you giving your ID? What are you telling them?
Yeah, so you're going to go in just like normal, and you're going to say your name and where you live, and then you're just going to show that ID, the driver's license or whatever it may be. You're just going to show it. The poll worker is going to look at it, make sure that it's your face, your name, and then you're going to move on to vote.
Okay, and so again, if it's students, they can use their student ID, or you could bring your passport even.
Passport works. Student IDs, it depends. The different schools had to apply to have their IDs accepted. So in Guilford, UNCG, A&T, and Bennett students can use their IDs.
Okay, and we're showing kind of like that list of all the different kinds of IDs that you can use and which ones are approved and all that kind of stuff. And they can, of course, find that all on the Board of Elections website.
Right, that's on our Board of Elections website. That's on the State Board of Elections website. There's signage at the polling places. We're going to do this again and keep talking about it going into next year. So there's a lot of places you can get this information.
All right, every single year, whenever we have any kind of election, there always seems to be the thing where someone gets something in the mail that says, I know how you voted and you need to do such and such. What are those mailers usually about?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the point of them is to try to push people to get out or to make them think that everybody knows all of their business. I don't really know. It's public that you voted. There is no way to know how you voted. Nobody knows that. I don't know that. Our system doesn't track that. So that you voted, yeah, but we also find that a lot of those mailers aren't even accurate there either. They're just somewhat random.
All right, so someone just texted in, what are we voting on? So what needs to happen is, depending on where you live, you can just go on the Board of Elections website and see if your zip code has something that you are going to be voting on, yes?
Well, yeah, kind of. So we'll have a sample ballot up there with all the contests that we've got in the county. If you live in a municipality, not Greensboro, like a High Point, Oak Ridge, Summerfield, Whitsett, Sedalia, Burlington, Gibsonville, Jamestown, Pleasant Garden, I think that may be all of them, Stokesdale. If you live within those corporate boundaries and not the unincorporated county and not in Greensboro, you're going to have things like your mayor, you're going to have your town council. Those are the kind of elections that we're doing right now, a lot of mayor and town councils.
All right, we've got about a minute left or so. What do you want folks to know, whether they're voting this time or not, about the whole voting process and what's going to be happening in the next year or so?
Yeah, if you've got one of these types of IDs, go vote. If you don't, go vote. We'll get you figured out. We'll take care of you. Don't sit at home. If you're worried about the picture or the name may be a little bit different, just go. Maybe get one of our free IDs. But if you can't do that, just go and it may work and we may have to do some extra paperwork, but I encourage everyone to go out and vote.
That's right. Make your vote count for sure. All right. Thank you so much, Charlie. We appreciate you. And we know that you have a busy election season ahead. It starts tomorrow. Don't forget, early voting begins tomorrow, Thursday, October the 19th.